Hello and welcome to the third part of the Bun on Table, the end of the year episode. Now, by the fact we were looking over 2008 and seeing if it was a good year for wrestling, it got us thinking about what was a good year for wrestling. So we decided to delve back in the old memory banks and try and come up with a year which we thought was a good one, or probably the best we've seen for wrestling so far. So Alan, what does your vote go for?
You see, for me,
80s boy.
well, I get quite biased because it's not, even if it wasn't a good year for wrestling for other people, I base it on what's going on in my life and stuff like that, and when I was watching wrestling, and so yeah, that's so it gets biased from that point. My first proper year in wrestling was '94 when I watched it week by week religiously.
When you used to watch Saturday Morning Mania with Todd Pettengill.
Todd Pettengill and Superstars.
Superstars.
Yeah.
Superstars was bloody awful when you look back at it.
Well, it was hard. Sometimes it was good and sometimes it was bad, because remember it had Diesel beating Razor Ramon for the IC title in '94 on it, which is quite good.
They actually had two known superstars going against each other.
Yeah, yes it did.
Wow, there was a concept in '94 that was really alien, wasn't it?
Obviously it started off with the Rumble. I enjoyed it. People didn't like the draw ending. Casket match, Yokozuna, enjoyed it at the time.
Oh yeah.
Maybe looking back now, don't know.
Looking back now, the casket match with Yokozuna looks absolutely ridiculous, by the way. Now, I mean, a lot of Undertaker storylines are absolutely ridiculous, but that's probably the pinnacle of ridiculous.
WrestleMania 10, you had Orton and Brett in the first ladder match, which was best two matches on the card. The rest of the undercard pretty weak, but them two matches.
Owen and Brett wasn't a ladder match.
No, I mean and the ladder match.
And the ladder match, yeah. I was going to say Owen and Brett in the ladder match.
No, and the ladder match. Sorry. Them two matches probably carried that card. I really enjoyed King of the Ring '94. I don't know how that got mixed. If that got mixed, Owen Hart winning it, thought it was quite good. You had the Anvil turn against Brett, which I thought was quite good. Didn't like the commentator because he had that baseball guy who didn't have a clue about wrestling. I don't know. Who's that? Art Donovan, I think his name was.
Art Donovan, that's him.
I don't know what they were thinking there.
Wow, he's really big.
Yeah, that was a bit. And of course it had the Naff Jerry Lawler Piper match, which I didn't run the fan of.
No, really awful.
SummerSlam '94 okay, but again carried by the cage match between Owen and Brett. That carried SummerSlam '94 with the return of Bulldog. So you had the Family's Feud storyline all through '94, which I thought was quite good. And finished off with '94 Survivor Series, not the best one. Had the Jerry King Lawler's midget team, not the Dunks midget team, which was ridiculous.
Was that '94 Survivor Series?
That was '94 Survivor Series.
Jesus, was that what was that? Stink, wink, and dink.
Pink, wink, and dink onto cheesy, queasy, and sleazy. Absolutely ridiculous. And you had the rematch casket match Undertaker Yokozuna again, not very exciting. Apart from Chuck Norris being a special guest enforcer. Was about the best.
Did he do anything that night?
He kicked Double J in the head. Was what Chuck Norris did that night.
Right.
Other than that, I think '94 the Hart Foundation feud was quite good, followed through. Then he had Backlund getting involved when he won the title at Survivor Series.
I hated Bob Backlund.
So it was '94. It was an alright year. I think that's my first followed year. Anyway, come tell me about your year.
I'd probably be saying '92.
'92, not a million miles away.
'92, because it was my first Royal Rumble.
That was
Ric Flair's 1 hour.
Amazing, that Rumble.
Which is fantastic. That was the first pay-per-view I ever watched all the way through because a friend of my dad's taped it for me. I said, oh yeah, Cam might like these. Yeah, we're roughly the same ones. WrestleMania 8 was amazing because the Randy Savage Ric Flair battle for the world title was so well put across with the whole photos thing and the Miss Elizabeth hoo-ha. And
the Return of the Warrior.
The Return of the Warrior as well, which at the time, if it happened today, it'd be really obvious, it'd be all over the internet. But at the time, because it wasn't, you were genuinely surprised. Although when you look back at it, as I think we've already discussed on the show, poor Papa Shango. He kind of has to sit there for what seems like 7 weeks.
Whereas Warriors doesn't realise he has to close like him when you couldn't.
Yeah, he's going to do all that, and there's Papa Shango going.
He has to pretend to where to look. He doesn't know where to look.
See, that looks completely rubbish in comparison.
Wembley Stadium.
Wembley, SummerSlam '92 was amazing. Oh, there's the Intercontinental match at
WrestleMania 8, yeah.
WrestleMania 8 as well, Bret Hart,
really
Piper. The part of that match which is so amazing for me anyway is when Piper is about to clock Bret Hart.
I think he's going back to his heel ways.
You think he's going back to his heel ways, and everyone's like, "Oh, don't do it. He's your buddy."
What the hell used the bell?
What the hell used the bell?
Yeah.
It was just amazing. And that pinnacle, that's what wrestling's all about for me. That kind of emotional moment where you're like, "Oh no, he's not going to clock his best mate with a bell purely for a title, is he?" and he didn't, and then it was just one of the best moments. I thought that, and then the whole ending when Bret Hart just flipped over the turnbuckle and he was in that sleeper hold was cool. SummerSlam '92.
It is forgettable.
I can only remember
the last match. Yeah,
I can only remember the hearse when Undertaker made his entrance,
and LOD,
Legion of Doom coming down with motorbikes, and
I see.
the Intercontinental match at the end.
Yeah, I mean the Warrior. It was Warrior Savage was the title match. It was a disqualification ending. It was pretty crap. A few of the matches. The rest of the night wasn't that good, but it was like the event. It was the venue and the outdoors next to the motorbikes.
The venue, yeah.
And obviously the best wrestling match was kept to the end, and that's the sort of thing that got that as a good pay per view. Survivor Series '92 a bit rubbish in my opinion.
I can only remember High Energy
against the Headstringers. That was the first year that there was done away with Survivor Series matches, and there was only one half Survivor Series match. Everything else was one-on-one. It was, but it was the first Michaels Bret Hart at Survivor Series. Of course, we'd see that again, but that was the first time.
Yeah, that would come back.
That would come back.
Survivor Series especially.
The first coffin match, Undertaker Kamala.
Oh yeah, Christ.
And the first nightstick match. Nightstick on a pole match.
Versus
Bossman. Oh, that match is it's entertaining. Doesn't go on too long. Which is good for a little. Good for a little yawn.
Shitty match. Good Bossman. He wasn't involved in a lot of classics.
No, that match it was all right because it went on. It was quick. It was over quite quick, and he beat Nails. It was all right for a spectacle.
It was all right, I suppose. You just had to climb the bloody pole.
And the main event was the whole meant to be Savage Warrior against Razor Ramon and Mr. Perfect. No, Razor Ramon and Ric Flair, but Warrior left WWE and left them in a bit of a limbo. So they came up with the whole turn Mr. Perfect against Ric Flair storyline and have them join Savage.
Yeah, I remember at the time being really young and being really confused as to why that happened.
It worked. I thought it worked quite well actually.
Yeah.
Match itself again was a good match, but had a ridiculous ending, disqualification ending. I never like when they have a good match and a rubbish ending. I think it takes a lot away from the match.
Yeah, it's not really great. So I'd say, on the whole, '92 was a really good year. Yeah. I don't know if it was just because it was my first year of watching.
Yeah, mine was my first year religious year. '99 was a good year. That '99 that was a proper.
I rejoined wrestling halfway through '99.
They did. That's where they packed the most storylines in '99. Sadly, I think they burnt them out of it because they're not much for the next year. But they did the whole Stephanie turning against Vince turning against Austin, then Vince teaming up with Austin, Vince turning back against Austin. Shane and Vince, they just sort of piled everything into that year, into '99.
I remember the SummerSlam Lover or Leaver match between Shane and Tess.
Yes, that exactly. Yeah, they did that. Yeah.
Which was probably the first. Was that the first match Shane ever wrestled in? I say wrestled.
No, because I think he beat X-Pac for the European title at one point in '99.
So he had. Was that WrestleMania?
Could have been WrestleMania. He had a few with him, but I think it could have been WrestleMania. Yeah, so it was for story. You had the whole ministry, and then the corporation, and the corporate ministry joined, and you had the Brood, and then they joined it. So it was a bit like the NWO thing going on as well, and a lot of the storylines, and everybody seemed to have their own storyline. You had the Boss Man eating Al Snow's dog, and nicking Big Show's dad's. Yeah, nicking Big Show's dad's coffin at one point, and there's quite a lot going on in that.
Yeah, even though I'd only sort of got back into WWE about 6 months previous, I remember looking at the WWE.com on just before Survivor Series. There was Armageddon, and seeing the title match between Big Show and Big Boss Man, and thinking that was shite.
It wasn't the best. You had Kurt Angle making his debut in '99 Survivor Series as well. Wasn't TLC, was it? That was next year. You had it's WrestleMania 16 was the ladder match. You had the first tag team ladder match, I think it was, wasn't it? Edge, Christian and the Hardys.
Oh yeah.
That was the first tag team match. Yeah,
that was it.
So there's quite a lot going on at '99. Undertaker title reign, Undertaker, McMahon getting fired, and McMahon winning the title at one point. You had that, and you had the six-pack match at Unforgiven.
30 seconds left.
So it was quite a lot packed into '99.
Yeah,
I thought quite a lot.
Was a good year for it. Probably the pinnacle of the Attitude Era as well.
Yeah, it was like the end of it, the sort of end of it.
Yeah,
I think they burnt themselves out pretty much with storylines. Yeah. Wrap things up if you want now.
I think we better wrap things up now. It's been very interesting. If you've been watching all year, thank you very much. We're going to go on my mic to come up because I'm not on new stuff to do as of January. But next month is our first anniversary, so we might get some cake and some beer out. It'll be nice. We'll see you then.
Cheers.